Good morning. How is everyone today? Say hi if you're here. Thank you for joining me for day 3 of Claim Your Abundance. I am Michelle Fries and I help empower men and women around the world stop settling for less than their heart's desires, heal their hearts, heal their minds, heal their souls, heal their bodies so that they can experience abundance, quantum leaps, and just everything they want, and do it all with ease. So today is about aligning with luck and activating our own energy. Before we get into that though, I should share this link because I promised that I would do that. So I'm going to quickly share this link and then we're going to start talking about that. I had lots of questions coming in. And so one of the questions that came in was actually super interesting. And I'm definitely going to answer that. Clicking all the wrong things. Here we go. So I don't really see the messages as we're going along. That could be something on my end when I'm doing this. I'm going to double check it's not. But if you're here and you want to claim the shift, the energetic shift for today or any of the other days where I have went live, just say yes, please. Either you're welcome to do it on Facebook, you're welcome to do it on YouTube, you're welcome to do it on Instagram, wherever you see the post about today, that's where I want you to say, yes, please, claim your shift, say you claim it, whatever that is for you. Because saying it out loud is asking the universe for help, which is like number one. I guess I might as well just give you guys that tips being as I'm talking about it. If you sit there and you think something, it is not near as powerful than if you say it out loud. So saying it out loud, typing it, writing it, that's saying it out loud, right? It's claiming it, it's owning it. And that is super important when you are speaking to God, when you're speaking to the universe, when you're speaking to the creator, when you're speaking to even your own high self. It's important to say things out loud. And, you know, people probably think I'm a little bit crazy sometimes, but I really do go around talking to myself now. And I choose my words wisely because words have power. So I want to talk about that question that came in that was like so fascinating and made me realize that it is definitely something I want to talk about today. The question that came in was, I don't exactly remember what I said, but I had mentioned having like a cute little house, an older vehicle. And then the question was like, hey, but you're teaching about abundance. Isn't abundance like luxury and more than enough money and more than enough this and more than enough that? Abundance is whatever you define as abundance to you. So for some people who have $0, $1,000 might be an abundance. However, most importantly, what I wanted to teach about this was I chose to make my mindset a priority. I chose to make healing a priority. I chose to make reprogramming my brain, healing my soul, healing my heart a priority. I am here to learn love. That's one of the main things. There's a whole pile of different things that I'm here to learn, but one of my main things to learn was love. Money has always been fairly easy for me. So it's something super, super easy for me to teach. However, like money at the level that I was at, because in my family, there was always a lack. So my programming from a little tiny girl was lack, 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 and some more lack, right? Have to work hard to make a living, whatever that was. However, if you ask people in my family, they're like, oh, she's just lucky, you know, like she just does whatever. And, you know, it always seems to work out for her. But there was always a part of me that believed that I was worth more or needed more, like that I was going to get more regardless of what everybody said. But then there was also a part of me that was like, I'm going to prove them wrong. And there was all these different aspects where it came in. And what I realized and what I had learned was, you know, you can go and win the lottery, but if you don't have the mindset and the tools and the belief system and all of this to handle that new frequency, which is ultimately that is a different amount of money, is a different frequency, another level of energy. And if you don't have the tools or have that within you to be able to embody that and to do it at the level that you like suddenly have, then you will lose it just as fast as you get it. So if I were to go out and buy that big fancy house, my dream house, the house that I think is amazing, if I hadn't done the inner work, and you know, it's all of us are always a work in progress, but if I hadn't learned how to love myself, and this is a big thing, what we feel about ourselves on the inside reflects the outside. So if I hadn't learned how to love myself, and if I wasn't making that a priority, and if I wasn't making healing traumas, past events, reprogramming my mind, changing my brain, changing my habits, up-leveling in all areas of my life, if I just went out and bought that house or rented that house or whatever it was, my dream house, I would probably F it up and be back in lesser than what I already live in. Are you getting what I'm saying? So I chose to put the stepping stones in place prior. Now, I'm not saying you can't go and get an amazing house and you can't go and start an amazing company and you can't go and do this and do that without all of those things in place. However, they need to be a priority while you're doing it. So as I grow my business, if I wasn't training, if I wasn't being mentored, if I wasn't being coached, if I wasn't taking courses, I would learn one thing, I'd show up, I'd have one thing to tell you guys, and I'd tell you the same thing over and over again. I'd keep doing the same thing, keep getting the same results. It wouldn't get me anything different. Now, if I was happy with that, that would be perfectly fine. However, I'm here to grow. I'm here to evolve. And I'm sure if you're watching me, you're here for the same reason. You're here to make an impact, whether that's in the world, in other people's lives, or whether that's in your family's lives, or whatever that looks like to you, whether that's at your local school or your local grocery store, like whatever that looks like to you, it doesn't really matter. You're still growing and learning. And so as long as you have a plan in place for when your shit comes up, when you are stepping into the unknown, or when you are embodying a new frequency or energy, as I called it, a new level of money, a new level of income, you know, whatever that is, because we're talking about abundance here, here's another thing that's coming in, a new level of love. Like, honestly, if somebody were to give somebody who didn't know how to love, they would F it up. They would do everything wrong not necessarily wrong. They would think they were doing everything right. They would want to do everything right, but unconsciously, everything wrong would be coming out because it would be all these things pretty much rejecting the love that they wanted because their hearts were unhealed, their minds were unhealed, their bodies were unhealed, they had traumas, they had things they didn't even know they had. And that is what I lived. And I continue to work on that because that was a deep scar for me. And what love looked like as a little kid. I'm not saying I lived in like some horrific situation, but it definitely wasn't and anybody, even if you lived in a healthy, like perfect situation, those beliefs from a 0 to 7-year-old's perception, those beliefs from back in the day no longer serve you, no matter what they were, whether they were good or bad or okay or average, regardless what they were, they're no longer serving you. Regardless what they were, your perception of love came from a freaking 3-year-old, not a 33-year-old or a 43-year-old or a 53-year-old or a 63-year-old. Are you getting what I'm saying? So I chose to do it a little bit easy. Like I chose to make, I was going to say to do it a little bit easier, but I didn't really choose to make it easier. I chose to take leaps and bounds in my business and my mindset and my training and my life, like my personal life, over buying the house, buying the vehicle, doing the luxury things, because for me, those things are going to come in time. If I charged the fees that I charge now, the very first day I ever did energy work or anything that I did, like I don't even remember what I was calling it when I did it, but if I charged that, I wouldn't have sold a thing. Nobody would have ever showed up on my doorstep for assistance because I wouldn't have done the work to feel worthy of that. I wouldn't have, I wouldn't even know the things that I know now to be able to help or assist or train or coach, or I wouldn't even have tapped into the abilities that I have that I shut down as a child, that I shut down because of my childhood. I had them when I was a kid, and then I had to relearn them or unlock them because I shut them down because I unlearned my natural ability within. And this is what happens to every one of us. We unlearn to trust what we are born with, our God-given, our, like, whatever you want to call it, whether you believe in God or not, we are born with it. And so I shut that down, and I needed to learn to tap back into it. And the more and more and more I learned to tap back into it, I just get more gifts. I get, and I call them gifts, but everybody, these are available to everybody. And that's what I teach. I teach you to tap into your own intuition and to trust your own intuition. And mine was telling me to get your shit together before you go and do that, because everything in you will set you, like, that's what happens, right? Say I went out and bought the house and I didn't, I was also starting a new business and I was stepping into something of the unknown, and I was doing mindset work and I was doing all this. Yes, I would have had the support systems in place. However, I felt like I needed to choose one because, something in me would be like, I don't want to invest in my business because I have this big house payment or whatever that I didn't have. And I made the choice. I decided what was best for me. Does that make sense? Now, you could do it the other way. You could choose the freaking amazing house, that your dream house, and then the rest of it will come into place. But you need the support system. You need to be constantly creating those brain changes. You need to be trusting your intuition. You need to be living in purpose. You need to be doing what makes your heart sing every single day. You need to be in flow And so I called it Align with Luck today, but ultimately what it is to be in flow. It is to be in harmony. It's to have your energy aligned with your own divine, natural frequency of abundance, which brings in those situations we look at as luck. We look at them as luck because that's just what we've called it. Like, oh, you're so lucky. You know, I don't know how many times I heard that when I was back in my oil field days, when I would buy another vehicle or, you know, waste however much money on whatever it was that I thought was important, or I would pay for everybody to do something, or I'd, you know, just decide I got the afternoon off, time to go buy a hot tub, like, or whatever it was. They're all like, oh, you're so lucky. You just, you know, you always do whatever you want. You have enough money. You don't care, blah, blah, blah. Like, I heard things like that. And it was like, but there was part of me that was just like, no, this isn't luck. This is part of me that I was tapping into was like, no, it's not luck. This is mine. This is mine to have. This feels good. And I just rolled with it. There was parts of what I did that didn't feel good, right? Out of purpose, you know, whatever that was. But are you getting what my point is here? My point is, I didn't feel lucky. I just felt like that's how it was supposed to be. And so then I unlearned that a little bit. And then, you know, then I had a child, and I completely freaking unlearned that because it, you know, I was going to get I just was finishing my last year of getting my journeyman welding ticket. And then I was pregnant, and then I had a child, like, and I just got my welding ticket a month later. I had a child and whatever. And that just like completely changed what was familiar to me and flipped it upside down. And then all of a sudden, I you know, you could call it wasn't so lucky, but really it wasn't luck. It was, I got out of being aligned with knowing that that was mine, and it was still available to me and still possible, and all my beliefs around what it looks like to be a parent and how that not ruins your life, but you know what I mean? That's for lack of better words, but how that's going to change your life for the worse. Because in my childhood, I think a person, like, if I go there, I just think like, you know, kids were a pain in the ass. Kids cost money. You couldn't have what you wanted because of kids. Like, that's what I learned. And then I had a kid, and all of a sudden, everything I wanted, everything I desired, all the money was available to me, it was all freaking running out the door. You know, I always had enough. And then next thing you know, now it's like, oh, now there's none. So I needed to look at that, right? And then it's the same thing with love. It's the same thing within a relationship. We're talking about money here, but then you go and look at it with a relationship. You don't have the partner, and then all of a sudden you get the partner, and then you don't know what to freaking do because this is unknown territory, or you learn, you know, it's a freaking hassle to be married to somebody because that's what you learned as a kid, or you fight, or you cheat, or you do this, or you do that, or you do this to get attention, or they control everything, or you don't get to make decisions, or whatever it is. And it changes your abundance. It changes your alignment with luck, with your own divine natural frequency of all that's available to you. And then, you know, they might even be the right person for you, but because of all this stuff that you learned, and because it's unfamiliar, because you're not making mindset a priority and shifting it on the fly, you know, okay, love's a priority, so now I'm going to shift it on the fly, right? So this, And love doesn't have to be romantic love. It can be in the family, it can be with your children, and ultimately it's with yourself, right? So if things are showing up on the exterior, either financially, love, health, all these different things, within there is something that we can take a look at and that we can do work on and that we can align you with, because somewhere there's just a misalignment. It's that simple. Somewhere there's a misalignment, energetic misalignment, either resistance or unknown territory or needing to get rid of some trauma or what, like there's various different reasons, and there's always something, and it can be super simple, it can take time, everybody's a little bit different, but however it is, that's where the shift begins. It begins within you. And so then you just trust that you are worthy of abundance, that you are worthy of investing in you. And I know that like that triggers a whole pile of you when I say that sometimes, because they're like, well, you're going to sell us something and now you're telling us to invest in us. Yeah, because that's what like if I didn't, I'm not doing you any favors. Invest in you, right? You go buy that house, ultimately, you go buy that new house, you go buy that new vehicle, you're investing in you, you're investing in a frequency you want to embody. So why not, if things around you aren't aligning the way that you like, why not invest in your mindset? Why not invest in healing your heart and your soul and your mind and your body so that you can embody this new frequency that you so desire? Because if that stuff isn't set in place and ready, it's going to be harder. That's why what I do makes it easier. That's what I do. What I do skyrockets it, happens faster, happens in some cases instantaneously. Because we work with the energy. We have whatever is not aligned with the new frequency that you're trying to embody gone before it gets there. Or the minute it gets there, we see that there's a difference and a shift needs to be made, either in the way of thinking, in habits, and quite often in alignment with the fact that you are out of purpose. You are doing something that is out of purpose. And it might be because you were taught that, it's good to have a job that has a pension plan or whatever it is, but it freaking drains every ounce of amazingness out of you. And then you really, really want to be a painter or whatever that is for you, right? It doesn't have to be a painter or an artist or whatever it is. But yet you're supposed to do this. So you're doing this because that's what you were taught. The minute we take the divine guidance, we trust the intuition, and like sometimes there's some pretty wonky different steps and things that come up. But when we do that, things just start lining up. We start aligning with what we call luck. And so that's what I taught you about right here with that freaking amazing question. So thank you for asking it, because you brought on the information that you and everyone else needed to hear. But yeah, that's how it's done. And you actually, you don't need to know right now. You just need to trust whether that feels right to you, whether that makes sense. We've all seen that person win the lottery or invest in the business and lose it all. Or we've seen that, like, we've seen all kinds, get an inheritance and blow it all. And instead of multiplying it or whatever it is, that's what we're talking about. And it doesn't have to be a massive amount. It can be just a little tiny simple thing. It can be as simple as, this is really common. You're that person who does everything themselves, right? And so then you get the help And then once you have the help, all of a sudden your energy is rejecting the help because you've learned if you do it yourself, it's easier or whatever that is, right? And then all of a sudden you don't have the help anymore. You're like, nobody supports me. Nobody wants to help me. Nobody, and on and on and on, right? Like, have you ever heard that? That might be a slightly different scenario to you, but it can be something that simple too. Where, you know, do I believe that you need to get rid of every single one of your beliefs to have something? No, but you need to be making, I believe that mindset needs to be a priority so that when you do get what you have, if something arises and shit hits the fan a little bit, or you're triggered, or it isn't quite working out the way you had hoped, that you can shift your perception, your perspective, your beliefs, you can heal, you can, whatever it is required to be able to embody that frequency peacefully. And so there's something that I maybe need to make a little clearer. I'm hearing, and like, for example, what does the house example keeps coming in? What does getting the house of your dreams have to do with self-love or loving yourself from within and being healed? Everything. There's going to be part of you who doesn't think it's worthy. There's going to be part of you who thinks it's going to be hard, and you're going to have to work harder, and you're going to have to do all these things differently. And all of those things that are coming up are what's getting in your way and making it harder. And it's actually what's going to make you want to downgrade. You know, whether you lose it because of bankruptcy, or whether you lose it, you decide to sell and move, whether you decide to do something out, like go back to a job that you don't like to pay for it. Whatever it is possible for you to do it, and do it in peace, with grace and ease. You just get to choose to shift the mindset while you're doing it. Does that make sense? So, is everything always peachy keen in my world? Hell no. There's shit storms everywhere. I just choose to put out the fires immediately because I get a hold of my mind. All right, don't like that. What can I shift? Where is the shift required? And when I don't hit the, like, when I don't choose to make that shift, or when I don't find out like what it was that, you know, if you don't actually like get the root of the problem, you know, you pull the weed out by its roots so it doesn't grow back, right? If you don't get it quite by the roots, it'll come back, it'll show itself again. And it's like, okay, so there's a little bit more there. You know, maybe I need to heal a little bit more around that. It wasn't quite all gone. Maybe I need to shift my perception around that a little bit more. Maybe there's something here that I need to let go of to make room for the new. Whatever it is, there is always room. Maybe it was good a month ago, and now that I've, you know, shifted my energy, changed my perception, it's no longer good. So you get to let go, whatever that is, right? As long as you're not going backwards, and the things that want to take you backwards, you take as opportunities to see what is required for you to continue going forwards and shift, you're winning. So everything that come up while I'm talking, we're just going to transmute all of that doesn't serve you. All of those beliefs, all of those thought patterns, all of those attachments. So anywhere, look at yourself like pretend you're a vacuum, and you're you're sucking energy from everywhere, right? All these different places, and you've got all these different places plugged into you for energy. Unplug everything that isn't serving your highest and greatest good and turn the freaking vacuum off and bring your energy back to you and stop sucking from places that are not, that are dirty. Like, you only want to be bringing in energy from pure divine source places that are in your highest and greatest good right here and now. It might have been good for you a month ago, but it might not be good for you now. Does that make sense? So we're going to transmute all of them, and then we're going to transform it, and through, we're going to tap into all the energy, the frequency, that's all that's available to you. And we're going to bring that in, and we're going to bring it into all levels of your being, in your minds. Obviously, we can do this on a different level when I'm talking face to face with you, but do not underestimate the power of doing it like this, because even though I'm not giving you a conscious, and you might have a conscious, you might feel, because of something I talked about, trigger, and then all of a sudden you might feel like, I don't need that anymore, or whatever it is, or I'm going to change this. That's the shift that I'm talking about. That's still happening. It's just we didn't consciously talk about it and say, okay, so, that's why I do what I do. That's why I create the programs that I have, because we can talk face to face, and I can say, okay, well, I'm hearing this, and like say you bought the new house or whatever it was, and we can discuss, okay, and then you realize what it is, and then you can also consciously choose to override your stuff. It's better to get it by the root and not consciously choose to override things over and over, because that gets to be like work. However, making a conscious and an unconscious connection is insanely powerful. And you're doing that. But to find your own stuff, to see it, is like a needle in a haystack. And I'm telling you right now, if I was to create a program right now called self-love, or like whatever it was that you needed on the inside, chances are everything in you is going to say, yeah, I don't need that. Because that's the unknown. Or are you getting what I'm saying? But if I create a program called Get Rich Quick, ooh, yeah, I need that. And we work on self-love because that's what comes up for you. It's different. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, we are attracted to the flashy things. And oftentimes we will talk ourselves out of, I've almost, when I make decisions, I think we talked about this the other day. When I make decisions on a higher level of consciousness. So say I was going to go into a coaching program, I will get into the higher level of consciousness, because this is what I do. And you guys would learn how to do that. It's something that I teach. If you wanted to, right, you could. But I get into this, and it's simple, but I get into this higher level of consciousness. It's a yes or no answer. If it's yes, I do it quick. And then, when I go back to my lower level of consciousness, my humanness, and that's when the doubts start creeping in. That's what's like, should I, shouldn't I? Well, I don't need that. What if it doesn't work? All those things start creeping in, but it's done. I made it at a higher level of consciousness. I trust, I embody it. And then I start dealing with all those little, nested things that are coming up. And it's like, all right, so that's where you get to shift. That's where you get to shift. That's what you get to look at. This is what you get to do. I'm choosing a different path. And I'm not just consciously choosing, but, and going, oh, you don't need that. And then suppressing it. I'm like, all right, let's bring that up. All the way up. Whatever that is, that grossness, whatever. And I'm feeling like tears and different things coming up for some of you. whatever that is, like, let's bring it right up. And as we bring all of it up, the more that you can get, the freer you are. But suppressing it and consciously choosing to override it and being in your masculine isn't the answer, because you're forcing things. You're doing what you should do. But when you allow yourself to be vulnerable and you allow yourself to move through the ugliness of whatever it is that's in your way, that's when you get to the other freaking side. That's when the grass is greener. So with that being said, I'm hearing that it might be really fun to play this game, and I've played it before. I played this game before myself, and I'm doing something fairly similar on a whole different level that isn't quite as easy as this to do, like with a group. But I want to play this game where we'll use money, because that's something that lots of us, like, honestly, we are all here to be in abundance of it. And we all desire, like, if you look at everything that ever comes in, a lot of people want more money, more love, and so we'll use money. And I'm going to invite each and every one of you into my Facebook group called The Ripple Effect. And we're going to play a game for this month on embodying a higher level of frequency of money. And so it's not going to require a whole bunch, but every day you'll get to claim something just in a comment. You'll go on the post that I make, and you'll embody a new frequency of whatever it is that I post. And I invite each and every one of you to join me to do that. So I'll post the link below in this comment, and then you can find me on this live. I'll post the link in the comments, and then you can find me there. And if you're having trouble, message me, because I just come up with that on the fly, right? So our journey isn't done. We get to hang out some more and learn some more and embody some more frequencies. And it's called Money Magnet. So with this workshop, we are going to touch base on whatever it is for whoever is in the group, right? This isn't generic like this for people that I don't see, because we're actually going to see each other, right? And I'm going to give you secrets and practices and different things that you can do to become a money magnet, right? We're going to change your money story. Whatever, like, oftentimes, I'm sure you guys have heard coaches talk about the glass ceiling. So we're going to make that ceiling, whatever it is, if it's 5,000 a month, 50,000 a month, wherever whatever that is, that's you're bumping up against, and it seems like, you live paycheck to paycheck, or whatever that looks like for you, we're going to make that ceiling your new floor. You can stand on that, and you're going to reach a new level. We'll get you energetically aligned with your divine natural frequency of money that's at your highest and best right now, right? Because not saying 2 years from now it'll be what's at your highest and best, because we're here to grow, we're here to evolve, but we're going to get you aligned with your own natural frequency. And we're going to bust through the illusions of lack that we have in our lives, that we create, that we live unknowingly, right? So basically, if you are anyone who finds, if I was to give you a questionnaire right now and you wanted more money, more love, more clients, more of anything, right? Because money is a tool, then this is for you. But if you're somebody who is happy where you are, who isn't vibing with me, who just doesn't really feel like growing, then this isn't quite for you. But please reach out to me, because there might be a little bit something more there, and I can possibly refer you to someone, or maybe I have some material that's recorded that I've done in the past that might serve you better, because that is not aligned with any of us. None of us are here to be in lack, to believe that there isn't enough, to believe that this is all that you're going to get, to believe that, you know, there isn't anything else possible for you, you're just unlucky, like whatever that is, whether it's love, money, health. If you have back problems, quite often that's related to money. This will be good for you. If you have I'm not sure what the word is, stress, lots of stress, this will be good for you, right? Like if you're that person who's stressed, like this will be good for you. Because like I told you, I called it money magnet because that's what people, it's a flashy name, but it's so much deeper than the name, right? It's so much deeper than the name. There's so much more work that we can do, and we can do it in a small, intimate container of people from all around the world who are ready to embody the next level, who are ready to step up, who are ready to say yes to them, who are ready to say yes to more, who are ready to stop suffering, to stop settling for, you know, the car they don't want, the house they don't want, the job they don't want to do, the relationship that doesn't make them happy, but they're in it for the money, like whatever it is, it doesn't have to be you're even in it for the money, the relationship that doesn't make them happy, settling for the clothes that don't fit because you know, you don't feel like you should buy more because you feel like you should lose weight. You know, if you would just lose the freaking weight, then you wouldn't need the clothes. Like that kind of shit, that can go. That's not serving you, right? So this is so much more than what Money Magnet says. But I invite each and every one of you, if you're like, I wonder if this could help me, reach out, because I'd be more than happy to let you know. And if it's not something that I will cover, because this is 1 day workshop, right? Then I might be able to refer you to something else, you know, send you a past recording, because, you know, I kind of got them all over the place, or give you some type of a guidance, right? Like I definitely have other things that might be of better service to you. So whatever that is, just let me know, and I hope to see each and every one of you there. But because You guys are all making decisions from the highest level of consciousness in this very moment. I'm going to make you guys give you guys an irresistible opportunity. So my Money Magnet workshop is $497. For those of you who decide to move forward in that in the next 48 hours, you can bring a friend for free. All that's required for you to bring a friend is for you to obviously get registered in the Money Magnet workshop. And then I'm going to need your friend's name and their email so that I can get them invited to the Money Magnet workshop. And that workshop is on Saturday. So with that said, I am just going to let you guys go, and I hope to see each and every one of you also joining me in the game, the money game, and the embodying the higher frequencies for the rest of this month. The rest of this month, like it's a brand new month, right? So brand new day, brand new month, brand new story, brand new money story. And for those of you who jump into Money Magnet, like bring your friends. I'm excited. I'm super, super excited. And thank you for watching. Thank you for participating in my Claim Your Abundance mini masterclass, and please do share it with whoever you desire. And I will do like a little bit of a recap in an email, and I'll send that out. So if you're not on my email list, you can also just join this link that I'll put below, and you can also just get on my email list. So if I ever have any other opportunities like this that come up, you will be the first to know. So please also feel free to hop on there, because, you know, if I'm doing Claim Your Abundance now, the email is going to be the first place that they know, right? Or on my Facebook pages. So you feel free to like them. And one other thing I'm hearing to mention, a lot of people, because I've been saying, yeah, I'll post it in the group, or I'll do this, I'll do that. A lot of people are saying, well, I don't see your posts from your page or your group, or, you know, what, or you're on your Instagram or whatever it is. And I have to go look you up. If you aren't constantly, and this is the algorithms and this is how it is, if you're not, you know, commenting with an emoji or liking it or sharing it or whatever it is, if you're not engaging in what's going on that page, then they don't show you more of it. So if that's something you want to do too, please make sure you're engaging. Make sure you've favorited it so that it's top priority and it's showing up before other stuff is another thing that you can do in the top of the group. You can choose to, I'm not sure if it's called favorites still, I haven't done it in a while because Facebook changes, but you can, there's different things you can do, but the best thing you can do is just, you know, comment. And you know, obviously I love to see that you're there anyways. I love to see it. And anything you guys comment or anything you say, that is actually where I decide to come up with Claim Your Abundance Now, is because somebody's commenting on something and they want the information. So then I'm like, all right, so if people want to learn this, I'll teach it, right? So other than that, thank you. It's been a slice. Until next time, or for those of you who are starting today with day one of my game we're going to play to embody the next level in my Facebook group. I will see you there in a little bit. Otherwise, I will see you at the right and perfect time. And I know that that is exactly how it will work.